hello to the president, David Chartrand of the Manitoba Métis Federation. Now you're out in St. Laurent, I hear.
Yes, I just stepped out of the funeral, just coming to a close, and of course, I'm here for the passing of 14-month-old Rifton and Jacob, again, both who died in a car accident not a few weeks ago.
That's right.
And it's a sad time for the community, of course, and the family. And that's Penny Fleming is the grandma, and Leanne Langler is actually the daughter, and also the educator. She works at the Lipichi Bewin Child and Family Child Care Center. So, but again, it was quite a touching ceremony that took place, and Penny did a superb job of doing the eulogy. And it's hard, when you ask yourself how a 14-month baby and the dad would go together at the same time, and
Right.
it's really hard for the family. So our prayers are definitely with them, and I want to thank our team for putting together some real beautiful infinity flowers and putting a little teddy bear in the middle of one, and just to express again our personal gratitude and at the same time our condolences to the family. So it's a beautiful ceremony, well attended. Of course, Minister Chartrand was there, Mona Bures was there, Jack Park was there. It was good to see our leaders out and supporting the community and the families.
Absolutely.
It's very important to see that all the time. So I was very pleased to get there, and Don Roulette was my partner in crime here, and so it's good. And today I'm at Liberty Local, by the way. Today's at 4:00. I'm heading to Liberty Local today in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I'll be going to that function. Tomorrow I'll be in Saint Eustache. Tomorrow, of course, Saint Eustache is having their festivities on L'Oreal Day, and I'll be actually taking a check to Saint Eustache. They're supporting them, and at the same time, they're getting some ongoing developments occurring in their area. And Saint Eustache is always working hard to make a difference, and that's happening tomorrow between 11 and 4. I think there's a pancake breakfast, and then skating, you have music and food and the rest of it that they like, for sure, a fit will be somewhere. Richard Local is hosting also a L'Oreal Day, and good to them, and food, music, and festivities from 11 to 2 at Richard Young. I think it's a Richard Young at Hart Hall, 22 Dawson Road. So that's happening tomorrow. And then on Monday, Portage Local is hosting L'Oreal Day celebrations at the Portage Mutual Arena. And Thompson Region L'Oreal, the day festivities are happening out there. And MMF Powerfuel Local is hosting the second annual L'Oreal Family Fun Day at St. George's. And the Stony Point Local is hosting theirs tomorrow between 1 and 5. And then Victoria Beach, Métis Local. And of course, on us on Monday, it's going to be an historical time frame for us in the sense of waiting 153 years to correct history.
Yeah.
The Premier and I will be first at 10 o'clock, at 10:30, I believe, or 10 o'clock. Can't see the time here.
At 10, yeah.
At 10:30, will be our cabinet and I will be at the legislative building to unveil the updated plaque on Lou Riel's portrait. As you know, in 2016, I was able to convince the government that Riel's picture should be hung at the same place as all the other premiers in the wall, called the Premier's Wall. Mm-hmm. And I was able to convince the Premier, I think Salinger was the Premier at the time, but it took from Dewar to Salinger. And I was able to get him convinced to hang the picture, but they wouldn't put the plaque of first Premier. So we had to wait again, and through Pallister, and then through Heather Stevenson, now we got Wob. And Wob now put that as the first legislation, and first act in power, and that Riel is the first, recognized the first Premier in Manitoba. So that, from there, after that function, we'll be heading down to the gravesite of Lou Riel at 1 o'clock. We'll be there to actually rob myself, and my granddaughter's going to come with me, and someone that's really very proud of being Métis, and she's going to be with us, and we're going to put a red brick card with a nice, the man and the team at the office were working on it. They got a fur hanging in the little red brick card, and they got a sash and some other recognized memorabilia of our government, and the royal assent will be placed inside there, and we'll lay that in front of the grave of Lou Riel. So I'm looking forward to that with the Premier. And so I said it's going to be a busy, busy day for us, but it's one we've been waiting. As I said, Riel's been waiting 153 years. I've been fighting for this for 30 years. So imagine the time frame of trying to get step by step, first taking out that grotesque statue, that twisted, naked one that was there, getting that out of the way. And you look at the history, how putting the proper statue facing Ottawa. And then from there, we're able to move forward and getting the holiday named after him, getting a plaque introduced into the wall of premiers. So it's been step by step by step, different things we've been able to accomplish. And finally getting what we're definitely pursuing is to ensure that Riel would be recognized as the first premier. Remember, I stood hard against an attempt by Canada and other MPs who had at different times tried to exonerate Riel through a pardon. And I stood firmly against that, and I still stand firmly against something that should never have even been offered in the context he was never guilty.
Right.
This is a fraudulent action by our country to blame him, make him look like a villain and a traitor and a madman, and at the same time, then murdering him, and not in Canada. And that's what people one day will learn. The act that was passed by Wab Kinew and his government makes it very clear. Not only we recognize Riel as the first premier, we're also ensuring that the curriculum will begin to resonate that message and change in Manitoba and hopefully the rest of Canada, where Riel's history, our history as the Métis people, will now take a forefront in the context of recognizing our true contribution as the founders of Western Canada, not only founders of Manitoba. We protected Western Canada. We brought it into Confederation. We had a strong affiliation. Our cousins, the First Nations next door, actually we demanded the treaties be established for the First Nations. But people got to remember at that time, 153 years ago, we were the dominant force. We were 10,000 of us in this province, which had a population of 12,000. When you look at that history, we were the dominant group, but we were also harvesters and buffalo hunters, and so people were fearful of us because we grew to be very military to protect ourselves as a people. So you look at history, we've done a lot of great things, and it's about time that the Act will finally recognize the true value of what Riel said. And in his own words, he said, one day I hope this country will recognize me for being not just the leader of the half-breeds, but I've done good for his country. And finally, it's coming to reality. So now we still got some more battles. Of course, he was always fearful, and he had a statement on the the identity theft that's happening, and that's something that we're protecting very vigorously. And we watch Ontario push vigorously to get recognizing all these new people. But at the same time, the sad part of all that, Naomi and all our listeners, is that's not their culture. They've never had the infinity flag. They never had the beating. They never had our music. They never had our culture, and yet that's what they're claiming to have. Riel was never their hero. It's never even part of their families. So let's go back 300 years. You'll never connect us to those people. But the government of Canada is supporting Ontario at this point in time and giving them the freedom to start creating a new people, a new Métis people. But leave us alone then. Go create your history. Tell us your history. If you've been around 300 years, tell us your history. Tell us what makes you a Métis. And you're a Métis. You're not our Métis. So let's tell us what you truly are and who you should really reveal. And leave our flags alone. Leave our beadwork. Leave our music. Leave our culture alone. Leave our heroes alone. So get your own. Tell us your heroes, because you have none, because you weren't even around. So you're just making it up because you're here to steal the opportunity we finally have been able to achieve in this country. But let's not forget, there's a special weekend too. 77th Annual Trappers Festival is taking place in the Paw this week. So tonight is, I think, it's Métis Family Night. Again, I want to thank Judy Mayer and, of course, her executive. You look at Joan Ledoux and you look at Daryl Furlan. They work very hard. They have both ministerial portfolios. Joan is education, and I think that if you look at mining, is what and fishing is I think it's fishing that he's the minister, Daryl Furlan, but he gives us advice on different sectors of fields. And so tonight is a big celebration, and have some damn good music up there. I think they have what's his name there, Daryl. I think Daryl Lavely. I think he's out there.
Oh, okay.
Darren Lavely. Yeah, Darren Lavely. I think he's out there, and so of course he plays a mean fiddle at the same time. So I'm sure they're going to have a good time. And that hall always packs up. I just give kudos to the region and the local. That hall packs up. They sell their tickets so quick, and there's like 400 or 500 people inside packed in there like sardines. And I won't be there this time, of course. I'll be in Winnipeg doing some other events. But we do have Will Goodon's out there, I believe, still. My wife will be attending some of the events. She's got her fur jacket now, and I got her a fur jacket, and to be proud of our fur company as we're moving forward. We're trying to promote, of course, fur as a very important aspect of our culture and our identity, and bringing that income back to our families. So So that's going to be happening out there, and I think our fur buyer is going to be heading out there soon and start again on the run across the north to start buying fur. Also, I want to give an update that I met with SARS, and that's the helicopter company that flies all over the place and picks up. It's an ambulance service, and they go to emergencies where ambulance can't get to in time and so forth. So I was looking at the amount of trips they make. Is unbelievable amount of trips that they've made throughout Manitoba. So we're going to sit down and see how better we can work with them. They are very interested in our Pine Dock location because when they head to the north for the First Nations, some small Métis villages we do have up there in the east side, they're talking about using their helicopter and hopefully looking towards our location in Pine Dock for fuel and also at the same time landing. So we're going to be sitting down and working with them and see how that could look for the future. And they do hire a lot of people. They say they have, I think they said about, how many employees? Maybe 50. I'm not sure exactly on the amount of employees they have, but it's a very important program for sure, without question, because it saves a lot of lives. And I understand it's only in a sense of to partial government funding. The rest is fundraising. So
they do a lot of fundraising.
Yeah. So that they said they want it that way. They don't want to be controlled by a government and set policies established, because then pretty soon they'll be telling them where they can go and who they can pick up, and they don't want to be involved in that kind of effect. So again, it's you got to give them kudos on that. So I want to sit down and see how it is we can really sit down and be a partner in some form. I'll give you guys a better report once I see the ongoing meetings that will take place. But we had a special event take place this week also, a very important event, where we finally had the pleasure of welcoming back and welcoming him at home, Eddie Ambrose. As you know, for the story, many have probably read about it, Eddie and Richard were switched at birth. And Eddie, being Métis, was given to the Ukrainian family. Richard, being Ukrainian, was given to the Métis family. And he lived in that life for over 60-something years, over 6 decades. They lived in different cultures and different worlds where they did not belong, wasn't theirs. And it was just such a powerful, recognition of understanding the loss they must have felt, and the loss that they still feel, that they lost over 60 years of their opportunity to be who they should have been. Mm-hmm. And now to try to find their way home is challenging for them to understand and connect with the culture. Richard was raised to be Métis, he's Ukrainian. So in my view, he's got to look and find his roots and at the same time establish his connections. And when you start looking at Eddie, he is so proud to be with his biological sister and family. But what's important, however, is that he still loves his other family. So he said, I still love my family, but this is where I belong. And one of the great things that we felt was necessary for him to really be part of the family, be part of the nation, the Red River Nation, was to get his citizenship card. So I was proud as a president to give him his card personally that he applied for. Of course, all the work was done, the genealogy, all of the requirements were put in place, and he just burst into tears. And I was so proud to hug him and embrace him and say, welcome home, Eddie. And I put the sash around his waist and tied it, and it just gave him he couldn't stop smiling, and how proud he was to be home again. And he said him and his sister speak daily. They don't, he's just hungry to know more about his culture and his feeling. And I seen Richard in the video. He's always going to be welcome in our family. He'll never hold office or run in our elections. Mm-hmm. But he's definitely welcome to be. In our culture, we welcome everybody into our family. But at the end of the day, he'll always be welcome. But now we know he belongs to the Ukrainian community. But it doesn't stop him from coming back to his family. I helped raise him, and I look forward to seeing him one day. I haven't seen him personally, but as I said, I had the pleasure of meeting Eddie, and that was something I will cherish forever. And I talked to Eddie, reminding him that what happened to us in the 1960s and on, a lot of our children were given away, and thousands of Indigenous children were passed and sold to the United States. A lot of them become slaves out there and actually were abused physically in all kind of ways. So when you look at it, and a few were treated okay, but the majority of them, you can't even say okay. At the end, they were still stolen from their own culture and their own families, and there's a lot of hardship for that. So from our side, I can't say enough of the pain that the individual has gone through the 60 scoop, and I'm sure Eddie's going through that right now, and so is Richard now. Well, you stole 6 decades from us, government. What are you going to do? So I hope the government settles with them, and I can't interfere until I'm asked. I did tell Eddie that if he ever needs my government, at the same time, we will jump in with 2 feet and hold the government accountable. So he does have a lawyer, and they're dealing with their own matters. And, of course, I'm not going to interfere unless I'm asked. So again, but Eddie knows, and he says, he feels so proud that he's got a government to protect him now, and that nobody could ever do this to our people again. We'll never allow it. And as we're moving forward on Bill 92, which is the transition, and of course people heard about it in the news. I think I reported last Saturday that the case was won against Quebec. The federal government were successful in arguing that Bill 92, which is the transformation and transition of child welfare, be directly to our government, the Métis government, that this is now going to happen. We've been waiting for over a year for this case to come down. Quebec challenged the federal government of Canada, and so now we have a chance to get Bill 92 in place. And I'll tell you something that I said to you last Saturday. One of the things that's so important to see is the power that will be instilled into our government, that we'll follow our laws. Mm-hmm. And our laws, I tell you right now, one of the clear statements in our laws will be that our laws will make it very clear, never again will you see permanent custody. We're never going to take children away from their family and the community. They'll always be with their family and community. And if the parents are broken, then we're going to help fix the parents.
Right.
It's not the child that's broken, it's the parents. So we'll help fix those parents and give them all the tools they need to get successful and strong again. And hopefully from there, they can have their loved ones again. And got to remember this situation that we see our families today is lingering from generations ago, when the 60 scoop destroyed so many of them, when the residential school destroyed so many of them. It's still going to take, it took probably 100 years to get there to residential school. It took how many years through the 60 scoop to destroy our families? It's going to take those many kind of years to get back and strengthen the family again, because I know there's a lot of hardships. And one of the things I am proud about, we actually finally got some concurrence. We are going to have a 60 scoop conference again, and I hope those listening to Saskatchewan and around the West, where citizens of our government and 60 scoop survivors, they'll be entitled and welcome to come to the conference. It'll be taking place. I'll report that next Saturday to make sure I have official dates. Mm-hmm. But we were successful with Canada to make sure funding is available to have that conference, because we're going to go ahead with our government, because we believe this is very, very important. We have lawyers now that are working on this, because I've been promised by Canada to negotiate instead of litigate, but negotiation is taking forever, and our people want justice, and they want to see being done to what happened to them. So I'm warning the government, if you don't, then let's go to court, because if you want to linger on, many of these other people have passed on already, and we can't be waiting for more and more people to pass on before you decide to do what's right, just like we look at veterans. Right. It took us 75 years to get an apology. So we're not going to wait 75 years to get an apology for a 60 scoop, or to deal with their settlements and their demands of what they want to see as justice. So again, just tell 60 scoop survivors, there is a conference coming up. Pay attention to the website, and also Métis will give you updates on that event and the days that are taken, and the way you can apply to get in there to be part of it, and listen to your wisdom and your message of what you believe is going to be just and right, and that you'll guide me in the right direction, that I will defend you vigorously to make sure we get justice for our people. So that's a good news story that's coming up now. The Identity Conference is going to happen in May. That's going to be a good one to discuss, again, what I said earlier, what's happening to us from Ontario and East that are coming in and trying to steal the identities of our people and steal our nation, steal our history. And we will update our people, advise everybody what's going on and how we need to make sure we protect our families and the next generation, because these effects will probably not impact you today, but they will impact you somehow in some fashion. But as the years go by and the decades go by, it's going to have a big impact to our next generation, because there'll be a big fight, who is the real Métis. And so we need to protect ourselves vigorously on that. And I have our Ambassador Clément Chartier working on that. At the same time, we have Will Goodon, and of course I have a very powerful policy team, Benoit and Zach and the rest of the team that are working on this. So again, my cabinet's all ready for this. We'll be in Thompson in March actually, we're having our cabinet meeting in March in Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you guys a better update on that. But we're also now wanting to show the challenge that the North faces when they come to the South for meetings. We want the South to feel the cabinet of the South to say, look, I have to understand the challenges the North face because they're in a different situation, and the cost of living and just the life in general is a lot harder in the North than it is in the South. So we're going to move our cabinet meeting out there in March. But let me close off with some greetings first to Jean Cheboyer. He used to be 110% Métis, he said. Now I'm 150% Métis.
Oh.
So he's going up higher. I don't know, pretty soon he's going to be 200% Métis. So say hello to him. But happy 40th birthday is going to Bonnie Hatch, and I still remember the nice meal she prepared. I visited her dad and her uncle and others in Sheridan when I was there, and I had the pleasure of Bonnie hosting us at her house. And I tell you, that soup she made was very, very, I haven't forgotten it, Bonnie. So she really was able to host us well, and I was so proud to meet her father. A lot of wisdom and listening to the stories of Sheridan, and of course we're working to fix that whole issue. Just for people to see in Sheridan, they're still in the small lake. I think it's called Cool Lake. It's orange. It's not blue. It's not green. It's orange. It's because the tailings of the mine was left there in the 50s, and they try to bury it underneath the water. They drain the lake and put the water back, and now it's orange water.
Yeah.
So, but we're afraid it's going to affect the fish. So I'm sure Bonnie's working with us on that file along with her father and others. We're going to try to hold the government accountable to clean that lake. Happy 73rd birthday is going to Elder Linda St. Cyr Sarek. She'll be with us again on Monday at the Graveside L'Oreal. And, of course, it's always great to see our elder there and her husband, Vic. But he's got a Greek name, so I don't try to, I'll butcher it. I try to say it all.
Winkle?
Yeah, something I don't want to say. Anyways, happy birthday again, Linda. And happy 63rd birthday to Al Benoit, Chief of Staff, celebrating his birthday on Monday, February 19th. He keeps on reminding me of his birthday. I keep on wondering why. I want a present or something. You know, it's my birthday on Monday. It's my birthday on Monday. I hear it about 10 times already. Okay. So, and a special happy birthday is going out to one of our guys in a wood project that deliver firewood to so many of our elders with such great appreciation and their families. And that's coming from Derek and the rest of the wood crew. That's to Randy Campbell. He's celebrating his birthday on February 19th on Monday. So, that team, I give kudos. I think they have 20 houses left, and we're finished now. I think it's about over 400 houses, close to 500 houses in the province now.
Wow.
It is unbelievable. It is quite a large grouping of our citizens that have turned to firewood. Mm-hmm. And our senior citizens, of course, we give them free firewood. And it helps them with their cost and the cost of living, and they really appreciate it, and they're so grateful when they receive it. And anyways, but I thank Hilda Bushy and Derek Danielson for the great work they're doing in that file. And I also want to close off with Dominic Janai, my nephew's son, who was and partner on the safe arrival of their baby boy, born Friday, February 16th. So he's at the hospital. Will be, I think, released today. He asked me to come down, but I'm in Saint Laurent. And so he's going to be released today from the hospital. And he's going to bring him to my house so I can have a picture with the new baby boy in our family. So,
congrats.
Yeah. And there are babies everywhere, but trust me, Christmas time is a nightmare. I have to try to get every one of them a present, and I'm talking probably 100 now.
Oh,
so anyways, it's a big family. But again, thank you to all the elders again for giving us the guidance and support you've always given us, and to our youth, especially our youth. I see such pride out there now. I see the flags flying in their households, and I see in their yards and in their businesses. It just I glow with pride on that.
Yeah.
It just shows you how people are so strong again, and I won't stop until we get justice for all of our issues. But at the end of the day, as I say to you, I'm very, very proud to be the leader and to see our youth so strong, believing themselves. And it just gives me, again, a sense of great pride that things are working the right way. And I want to say, again, to Dave Woodon, who listens to every Saturday. I'll see him at the gravesite, and he'll be standing there proud as a peacock as we walk, Rob and I, and my granddaughter will join me.
Nice.
The reason I'm bringing my granddaughter, she's a big supporter. She spoke to the mayor the other day.
Yeah.
I was so proud of her. She had a 20-minute discussion with the mayor. And because she always speaks about these social issues homelessness at home and
Oh,
different files,
good.
you know. Well, she's 16 and she sees these things. She reads about them and she asks me questions, what we're doing, you know, why is it this, you know, why is this happening? Is that happening? You know, can you fix that? You know, what's the government doing? So, but really the message I want to take, Wob and I, is that the next generation will be carrying a big, heavy load to continue fighting for what's just and what's right. So it's going to be a great day for us at the gravesite, and history in the making. 153 years in waiting for this justice to happen. And after that, I hope we end this discussion. We end the discussion of him being a madman, a traitor, and really talk about how great of a man he was. Remember, he was only 24, 25 years old when he was the premier of this province.
25,
And we had to fight wars and battles to defend our lands, and he lost his children, both died. You know, he never had any sanity. He was never home. He was always traveling. And I was actually in Gimli, in my closing on this comment, I was in Gimli, and there's a book this gentleman showed me, a book crafted from the Icelanders, and the family there talks about Riel visiting their house.
Really?
Yeah, and talking, and it talks about the history of the Icelanders, and Riel stopping in their house and visiting them, and having a discussion about politics, probably, and the situation of the province. So it's great to leader went and visit Icelanders there and talk to them. So it's good that they have it published in a book, and I felt very powerful to read that and thinking, wow, you know,
Okay.
our leader was everywhere, and that's what I try to embody. That's why I'm everywhere. Nowhere you'll find me somewhere doing something. So again, take care, everybody, and keep up the good work. And thanks for finding me, Cowboy, and Naomi. Thank you very much for your beautiful voice on the show, and to all my family out there. I wrap my arms around all of you. So take care.
All right. Thanks,
And
David.
let me say this. Hello, darling. That's one of my favorite songs.
I know. It's good.
Hello, darling. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.